Splatterkins TCG.
Hey Visionaries, it's Nita Marie, aka AcyFaust, and I'm here to answer some questions that you guys might have about Splatterkins. About 3 days ago, I set up a Q&A section in the Discord where Discord members were able to go ahead and post questions that they have about Splatterkins and its development, and the future of Splatterkins as well. So I'm really excited to answer your questions. Let's get started. The first few questions that I have are from Sewell. The first question is, when you design the gameplay and even the artistic features of a Splatterkin card, such as the inspiration, values, and talents, do you have a set process in which you create said features, such as, for instance, starting with either creating the inspiration values and then creating and balancing the card talents and effects? Or might you come up with any one aspect of a card and then design it and balance the other aspects around it? So that's a great question. When I think of gameplay, I like to kind of look and see what holes are missing in gameplay. What aspects haven't I come across yet or thought of to add to the game? And also too, how to counteract something. I'm really big on trying to pit cards against each other and seeing what works and what doesn't, because I don't want there to be just one meta in the game. I want people to be able to do different types of gameplay styles and really mix and match and make it their own. In terms of artistic designs for Splatterkins, sometimes their design does actually inspire their talents and abilities. For example, Rosemary, she's a plant, so the thought of poison and thorns worked really well to give for her talents in the original and revision forms. The second question we have was there a goal in mind when you started Splatterkins in regard to how many cards you originally set out to create? And if so, has that goal been surpassed? So my thought for Splatterkins was to have anywhere between 80 to 100 cards to start with for the first sketch. I haven't quite reached either of those numbers just yet, but I'm well on my way to hitting 80. And then from there, just adding a little bit of odds and ends to help fill out the roster of different colorways and effect cards that there are. So, hasn't been surpassed yet, but I'm looking forward to finishing up the first sketch and working on set 2. The third question that we have is, how do you decide what colorway a Splatterkin is going to be when you are designing it? And in the future, do you think that there will be cards that feature older Splatterkins in new colorways? When I design a Splatterkin, usually, well, let's backtrack a little bit. When I first started, didn't really have any colorway in mind. I just kind of picked and chose what colors I thought would look best for the design at hand. Now, going forwards, now that we're a little bit further into the set, I kind of look and see what colorways really need to be focused on and base Splatterkin around that colorway, or also to pick designs that I might have a backlog of and be like, does this work for pastel? Does this work for metallic? And kind of work them into those colorways and really make them their own. So in the Discord, I have hinted a few times that there will be Splatterkins that you'll see in different colorways. I think it's really cool, almost like a collaboration between artists drawing things in your own style. So Splatterkins are really no different as they are artistic creation. To see them in different medias, different styles and things like that, I'm really excited to see. There might be a monochrome Prisma one day, who knows? Alrighty, the next question is, have you thought of, in the future, designing Splatterkins based on other art mediums besides paint, such as pottery and glass blowing? I definitely want to explore other mediums for Splatterkins to base them off of. I've thought of jewelry, even music, so I really do want to explore things like knitting, sewing, all those different forms, food artistry even, like people that make those amazing realistic looking cakes. There's so many different forms of art that go beyond just painting, and there's also art in terms of expression, such as acting and things of that nature. So I would love to try to incorporate everything I can artistic in Splatterkins at some point. And the last question from Sewell is, what tools or tech do you use to draw Splatterkins artwork? I use a Wacom One graphics tablet, which has the screen built into the tablet. I use Clip Paint Studio and Paint Tools Side. The sixth question that we have is from Pee-wee0. It's, when designing Visionaries, do you take inspiration from the people around you, or are they completely original characters you've come up with to fit the world of Tempura? So initially, I don't think of anybody in particular when I'm making the characters. I kind of design them from the ground up, just based on my own imagination and what I think would fit the world, and also to their colorway. Sometimes the colorway isn't necessarily designated when I design a visionary. I design the character and then look and see, okay, what colorway do they fit into? That's not always the case. The seventh question that we have is from Fleet, and it's, I know Splatterkins is a passion project, which I think is so awesome, but I was wondering where your head is with the future cards, decks, and the possibility of sets. For now, are you considering continuing to release new decks as you create enough cards? So the goal for the first sketch was to have 2 starter decks and the remainder be pulled booster packs. I wasn't necessarily looking to do booster boxes just yet because the project is still relatively new and the traction isn't there for booster boxes themselves. Going forward, there will be additional sets where they will also have 2 starter decks and booster packs. And when it gets to the first reprint, that's when booster boxes will be discussed and offered as an option for people. And the last question that I have for you guys today was from Ben TC. What is your roadmap for the next 2 to 3 years? So my roadmap is to finish the first sketch, which I believe we're at about 60 or 65, somewhere in between their cards. So whether I want to make it 80 cards or 100, there's still quite over way to go, but it's mostly filling up the remainder colorways and, trying to look at the set as a whole and seeing what things are missing and what things could be added or improved upon. Also, to give support to visionaries as well. The next 2 to 3 years is ideally just growing Splatterkins in terms of getting it out there, letting people know what it is, whether it be myself going to local game stores and trying to get a local play group going, doing things with content creators like I did with actually you, Ben, and Pee-wees as well, and just reaching out to other content creators, seeing if they want to cover Splatterkins, encouraging people to play. We already have a small group of people online that play on TTS, and I would love to keep that going. I would love to start holding tournaments and getting that going and getting a good solid gameplay group, because for me, what is the game without the players? The players make everything. Yes, the collectors help, but also the players are the people that will actually be the longevity of your game. So props to you guys that have played it, and if you haven't, you should. I'm always willing to teach you guys. And then from there, aside from local support and things like that, I would like to start talking to game stores in other states, whether it be in the tri-state region. I am located in New York, or across the country, and then eventually branch out from there. I do want to start going to local conventions or street fairs, even just anything to get the word out there about Splatterkins and seeing what the kids want to see. Splatterkins is built around a whole entire idea of being family friendly. I want people of all ages to be able to sit down and play Splatterkins, not open up their playmat and put down their cards and be like, oh, my 10-year-old niece is walking over and I can't show her, or things like that. I don't want that to be a part of Splatterkins. I want anybody to be able to look at a card and enjoy it. That's just the way that I've built Splatterkins. So there's a lot to do to get to where I want Splatterkins to be, but it's primarily getting the word out there, finishing the first sketch, starting on the second set, and trying to fill the void in between the first set and the second set, and doing that with little mini sets here and there to try to get more cards out to people. And eventually I do want to do selective hollows and things like that, and booster boxes and everything like I discussed before. It's just going to take some time. So if you're in it to see where Splatterkins goes, welcome aboard. And I can't wait to see where Splatterkins goes and to continue sharing my artistic passion with you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy the world of Tempera and the Splatterkins that are in it. Alright, this has been AcyFaust, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!